Hi, my name is Matthew McNaughton, and I'm one of the co-founders of the SlashRoots Developer Community. SlashRoots is a social enterprise focused on supporting the emergence of a civic and socially aware ICT ecosystem in Jamaica and the Caribbean. It was first conceptualized in November 2010 as a place for Jamaican developers to share knowledge, share things that they're working on, capacity building, and kind of like encourage the use of technology and like raise the profile of software development. It quickly grew into this regional initiative, and over the next 2 years became one of the premier developer communities in the region around for developer-focused events and exploring different types of social innovations. At SlashRoots, we strongly believe that the technology ecosystem that emerges and will emerge from the Caribbean is going to be different from what's happening in Silicon Valley or in London or any other place. And it's going to have to be, because we have our own social context and we have our own social problems. And so while we definitely want to see the Googles and the Facebooks emerge from the region, it's going to be important as well to see the Googles that are solving agriculture issues, or the Googles that become the tourism apps, for the rest of the world. And so what we're trying to do in SlashRoots is to help encourage the emergence of both of those things. Since inception, we've seen our community grow regionally. We've organized a number of events and workshops and presentations aimed both at building local capacity as well as connecting developers in the region to what's going on globally. One of those such events was a Google Summer of Code workshop that we organized earlier this year to help students get into the program, tertiary education students get into the program. Probably what people know SlashRoots best for have been our conferences. We've organized probably the 3 largest technology-related conferences in the region. The first was in January 2010, and that focused on agriculture. So we worked primarily facilitated by collaborations with the Mona School of Business, the International Development Research Center of Canada, and then later, most recently, we worked with the World Bank on other events. In 2011, we worked in the conference then was around agriculture, and we worked with the Rural Area Development Agency to open up their data and release data around farmers, like what farmers were producing, and a number of those things. And then the developers got access to that information as well as problems that existed in the agriculture space and build apps around that. We did a similar thing earlier this year with partners across the region in areas like farming, in agriculture, tourism, regional trade. And that conference, which we call Developing the Caribbean, we had in 5 simultaneous islands. We had it in Jamaica, Trinidad, the Dominican Republic, with virtual events in Barbados and Cuba. And what was unique about that event is that it wasn't just the technologists working in a silo. We worked with persons who were actually in those various areas to get the problems that existed, as well as to get data that could help that could help enable those problems. And then those became the raw materials that the developers used to build their different social innovations. And it was definitely a great success. In 2030, if I was to see a headline related to something that SlashRoots was doing, it would be great to see something like the SlashRoots-backed agriculture startup increases regional trade by 40%. And that's what I think, that's certainly possible for using technology to impact and disrupt what's going on in agriculture in the Caribbean, and that could be something that could be done for any number of areas. I am Matthew McNaughton, and together we can make a better 50.